Hey there, fellow educators. I know that you've spent your career helping others succeed, and now it's your time to pass the ultimate life exam, creating a retirement plan that works as hard as you do. Today we're going to break down the steps to make your retirement income last, grow, and protect you, no matter what life throws your way. Teachers, you give so much every day. You're shaping lives and you're inspiring the future. But when it comes to your retirement, the path forward can feel uncertain. If you're an educator juggling demands of busy schedules and financial stress, you are not alone. Many teachers worry about outliving their savings, or managing their pension, or ensuring long-term care without burdening their family. With pensions often alone falling short, many educators struggle to bridge the gap between what they need and what they have for a secure retirement. That's where Educators Financial Foresight Weekly comes in. Each week, I'll guide you through clear, actionable steps to understand your pension and spot hidden gaps, build a retirement income strategy tailored to your needs, protect your savings from inflation and unexpected costs, and plan for long-term care and estate needs without burdening your loved ones. Your career has been about making a difference. Tune in every Thursday at 11:30 a.m. Eastern on YouTube and LinkedIn. Let's build a retirement as rewarding as your career. Welcome to today's episode of Educators Financial Foresight Weekly, your step-by-step guide to financial peace of mind. I'm Debbie Major, former educator, now financial planner for educators, and today we're talking about retirement income optimization. Now, by the end of the episode, I'm hoping you'll know how to have a clear written retirement income plan, how to maximize your Social Security benefits, consider a hybrid retirement, protect your savings from inflation, and plan for long-term medical costs. Ready to start? Let's dive in. Unfortunately, too many retirees step into their new retirement chapter of their life without a plan. And the truth is, retirement with a plan, it's like having a classroom without a lesson plan or a project without objectives. I mean, sure, you can get through the day and you can make things work, but will you hit your goals? Some common pitfalls that I see is claiming Social Security too early and thereby locking in less income for life, or spending on their savings without adjusting for inflation, or underestimating medical and long-term care costs, or assuming pensions and savings will automatically just work out. And the result? Stress, uncertainty, and sometimes having to come back on the very lifestyle you worked decades to build. So what's the solution? All right, well, how about if we think of our life, or think of it like a retirement lesson plan or the retirement lesson book. You map it out. You think, well, which accounts do I want to draw from first? Which would come next? Which would come last? If you have watched before and you've heard me talk about buckets and bucketing plans, you want to know what's going to go in your now bucket, what you're going to use this year, the soon bucket, the next 8 to 10 years, and then your long-term bucket, which is going to be after 10 years more. And how much monthly income do you really need? And then what kind of life changes are going to happen that you may have to make adjustments for? You want to think about those things to put them in your plan. So one, write down and have a written retirement income plan. Know where everything is coming from. 2, maximize your Social Security benefits. Educators, you have just had a big windfall happen because you now can claim, if you didn't work and pay into Social Security, you can claim a spousal benefit on your spouse's work record, or if you did work, you get your full Social Security benefit. So you want to make sure that you do your claiming right. So run the numbers. The longer you wait, the bigger the check's going to be. You want to coordinate it with your pension, right? So you make sure you don't give back benefits you don't need to. And for couples, timing really matters. Your Social Security benefit is going to grow until you turn age 70. So if the higher earner in your house can at least wait till age 70, that will boost your Social Security income over the course of your retirement years. And they study, when we run the reports, it can be up to over $100,000 more in money you could have gotten through all those years. So keep that in mind. 3, consider a hybrid retirement. This is where you either work part-time and you don't retire all the way, or you get a different job and do consulting work, things like that. But what it'll do is it'll give you that money to be that hedge for inflation for those first years that you're retired. It keeps that income kind of flowing so you don't have that strain on your savings. You can ease a transition emotionally and financially. And so a lot of times you can pick something that you really just enjoy doing. So think about a hybrid retirement. Number 4, protect your savings from inflation. So, because inflation is going to happen, sometimes, it's sort of coming down in the news right now. I know a couple of years ago, that's all we were talking about was inflation. But, it can really eat over time into your budget, especially when your income, it gets to be fixed or on a fixed kind of budget while you're retired. So consider investments and income sources that can adjust over time. Think about, can you take some risk maybe with money you don't need for another 10 years? Or should you be? Or what are you comfortable with? And what could you do? A financial advisor would help in this area a lot because you can help with the risk tolerance and to see where you fit. So if you have one, I encourage you to talk to them. 5, and this one I know no one ever likes to talk about, but we need to talk about it, and that's the long-term medical costs. Even Medicaid is paid by people. After the person dies, it's been on Medicaid, it's been in a nursing home, the state will still try and go back and get money from that estate. And that's because Medicaid is paid through our state taxes and federal taxes, but mainly it's paid through taxes, which means that we are paying for the Medicaid that people are taking in long-term care. So many times I've heard people say, I'm just going to, run out of money, I'll go on Medicaid, I don't have to worry about it. I would think about that. I'd also think about, do you want to have choice where you want to stay? Because that's going to determine, also that's important. Medicare itself is a health plan. It is not a long-term plan, so it doesn't cover staying in a nursing home or things like that. It covers your health insurance. So you want to think about, should I get something supplemental? How much would long-term coverage cost? There's lots of options out there now. Maybe it's one that you can combine and find something that you like that fits your needs. But you should certainly have money that's earmarked as a healthcare account or a healthcare bucket within the buckets, right? Because you want to make sure that if something happens, you're not going to be devastated financially, especially when it comes to long-term care. So with those 5 options or things to think about to put into your written plan, really the written plan is probably the most important thing. So you think about all these things. I want you to know you do have options and no matter where you are in your career. And I'd love to hear from you, which of these steps feels more urgent for you now? Do you feel like maybe a plan, or do you feel like you need security, or do you feel like help? Drop it in the comments or send me a DM. Let me know. I can cover that in a future episode. I'd love to have your ideas of what you want talked about in future episodes. So let me know. But I just want to, I know I stress plans and plans and plans, and that's because I just feel like we don't hear that enough to let it really sink in sometimes. We just think, oh, I know I've got this here and I've got that there, I've got my pension. And yet, to look at it sometimes it makes a finalization on what comes in the future. And, that's not bad. It's good to do. It's good to look at your future self and where do you want to be 5 years from now? What does your future self really want to look like in 10 years? And what is that future self telling you today that you need to do? Franklin D. Roosevelt once said, The only limit to our realization of tomorrow will be our doubts of today. When it comes to your retirement, the key is to replace doubt with a plan, so your tomorrow is as secure and fulfilling as you dreamed. All right, well, as a wrap up today, educators, retirement income optimization, it isn't about guessing. It's about having a clear plan so you can teach life on your own terms. I've included a link for a PDF download you can use for your optimization retirement income plan if you'd like to. Until next week, here's to clarity, confidence, and a secure retirement you can count on. See you next week.